Good morning. Glory to God in the highest, and on earth, peace to people of goodwill. I'm Kevin Gregg. We're in a different location today. Welcome to the show. If this is your first time here, this is a show that's designed to help you reflect, refresh, rebuild, reinvigorate, reinvent your life according to God's call for your life. Hi, glad to have you here. For those of you that are returning, I'm in a new location, trying to figure out where to place this show. Sorry, I've also got I got a little schmutz on my face. I used to deal with that a lot with commercials. Oh my gosh, it was terrible. I used to have like the worst when I was younger. I used to have just terrible acne. Oh my gosh, it was just terrible. Like it was like the minute that I turned like, I think it was like 15, even 14, man, it was just disaster. Would never want to visit those times again. Glad to have you here. If you have any comments or questions, you want to say something, feel free to drop that in the YouTube live stream chat. Plenty of stuff to talk about today. I'm a little, this morning, I feel, I once had my friend Kenny Lamon, who I just had on the Your Creative Journey show the other day, described this best. Yeah, we used to share break rooms together as we did shows. I remember once he was feeling, he was burned the candle at both ends. He kind of kept going. And he said this phrase once. I went, oh my gosh, that's the best description I've ever heard. He said, I feel like my blood is molasses and it's just crawling through and I can't get enough stuff going. I feel a little bit like that this morning. I've Kate's been out of town. Her mom's had an operation. Everything's gone well, thank God. I've been juggling Duncan. Duncan got to go out with my oldest son. Yeah, not my oldest brother. My oldest son, Luke, was able to take him down to Disney. So I was just working on a lot of stuff. I ended up using like my Saturday as my Sabbath, which was a good thing. But anyway, yesterday was a long day of doing work and, I'm feeling it. Yesterday was my Monday. Today's my Tuesday. Many good things can happen. What's on my mind? Hi. Hello, Charity. Happy Monday to you. Thanks for joining us. I had this memory that popped up yesterday that I went, wow, that's exactly, I think that it is reflective of how we approach life, how we want everything instantaneously and for free. And I forget what I was thinking about. I was thinking about like probably my ideas and what God's ideas are, right? Like my plans and what God's plans are. Two completely different things. And I sure do want the results quick, right? I just thinking about this morning. I got on the scale. I'm on a little bit of a weight loss journey. I've talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Listen, for about a year and a half, I was on a keto diet, which was good. I was able to make it happen. I lost an incredible amount of weight so quick. Kate was furious with me. I would probably say in the first 2.5 weeks of a keto diet, I probably lost like 10 pounds or so. It was crazy. Anyway, the keto diet was working pretty well for me. But then like I started like kind of going like, I'm like losing way too much weight here. And then of course you just start fooling around with stuff like keto diets. I'm sorry, I'm way off topic today. I'm sorry. I'll come back to it. Again, the blood feels like molasses today, but I'm grateful that I get to show up here because I get to practice and I get to talk in person with you guys. If you're brand new, well, hi, welcome. This is how it goes. So here's the thing. I lost all the weight on keto, and as it happens, keto is a very specific diet. I mean, you've got to be so very specific with what you're putting in, because basically you're sort of reprogramming and training your body to use fat as fuel, right? That makes sense. Like, we have fat stores, and that's what we do. Um, but you can't mess around with it, right? You need to make sure that you're consuming the right fats and that you're being very specific. If you start messing around, starting to put in like breads and sugars and all that stuff, it will completely trick your body, and your body will go, oh, we've got other sources of energy that's coming in. So we're going to start doing this, and we're going to just start storing the fat. And then sometimes if you're not doing the right fat, like, it can get super dangerous. Anyway, got to a point where I started transition off of it and I started messing around with carbs and all this. I put in like everybody went through this pandemic. Great. I went through, not everybody went through the pandemic. Great. I went through the pandemic relatively well. And then just as we're coming out of the pandemic, like literally I put on like 20 pounds. It's crazy. Like, I put on 20 pounds in 3 months. Like, it's nuts after we're coming out of the pandemic. Backwards. Anyway, all of this to say is I've been on a little bit of a journey again with diet, exercise, all of this stuff. And boy, you you have these days where you like go, I ate well, I logged everything, I did 5-mile walks, like I was rocking it, right? And then you get on the scale and it doesn't reflect what it is. Now, I know some people are out there like, you shouldn't get on the scale every day. And then there's other apps that are out there saying, no, get on the scale every day, so that you get yourself out of this mindset of like, you're keeping honest, you're looking at it. And then also you're like addressing the mental issues that go on with it. We were just visiting a friend of ours the other day who she's lost like 25 pounds over several months. And has done a great job. She looks fantastic. But one of the things that she did was about getting on the scale every day. And she said something that was so poignant, where she said, it got me out of being, it got me out of getting freaked out by the scale. Like, she would have days where she would get on the scale and she'd go, yeah, I know I didn't eat 2 pounds of food yesterday, and there's an extra 2 pounds on there. So I'm going through different stuff. Maybe my body's retaining water in a different way, but it helped get her out of the stuff. What is all of this to say, Kevin? What are you saying? I'm saying this, that we want results so fast, so quick. We want it done. We want it done on our timeline. And that's not how it works. It's not how great development and strengthening and deepening in the Christian journey. It's just not how it goes. And even in your career as well. So I think I was thinking about this channel. I was thinking about the other stuff that I've been doing work wise. And honestly, man, there are times where uh, I have felt feelings aren't a fact, but I have felt like, man, I'm putting all of this work into this stuff and I'm not seeing the results. And the fact is, number one, you have to take a step back and go, hold on a second. I get to hang out and chat with amazing people like Charity or Holly or Doug, or those people that show up on here, or the other people that show up at your creative journey. It's like, that's amazing, right? Like, the fact that we get the opportunity to like show up consistently to do that. Wonderful. Um, and guess what? You have to also put in the time. That's part of what God does, right? I am so grateful that I get this opportunity to do this, even as I'm doing this setup today. I don't know if you guys if you like this, let me know in the comments how it looks. This may be what you see the future of the show for a little while. I'll get into that in a second. But even to do this setup, like, I'm literally broadcasting from my living room at my place. And, you know, if you take a look at how I have done this, like, I've got a dining room table over, I've got chairs up, I've got stuff, like, I've got it set up. But it takes work. Like, you got to show up, right? Let's see what Charity says. Does Charity give me the thumbs up? Yes, everything done well takes time. It's so true. So I was remembering this years ago at our church. I went to St. Ambrose church in West Hollywood. That's at the corner of Fairfax and Fountain in LA. And uh, we used to have, like, every year we had this international food festival, which was just like, it was absolutely amazing, right? Uh, and and so it was like they would have like rides and game booths and different types of foods, and it's just amazing. Well, they'd always have this raffle that would happen every year, and I think I was probably, I'm gonna guess I was around 10. I'm gonna guess I was around 10. So that would have been 82. I was born in 72. So they had one year they were raffling off an Atari 2600. I don't even know if they called it the 2600 back then. They may have even just called it like the Atari game system. Uh, Holy smokes. Like, that was huge. You have to understand, like, huge, that game system. Like, every kid wanted to have that. We just couldn't do it. I think I'm going to be totally wrong on the prices on this, but I think to like buy one of those back then, it was like $300. Like, it was $300 like back in 82, which is just like, whew, that's a lot of dough, right? So anyway, the system was going up. It was going to be like the one of the prizes at the raffle. And I remember I had been doing chores, cleaning, cleaning around the house. I don't think I was mowing lawns yet. I don't think Dad let me start mowing lawns until I was about 11, because he wanted to be, careful with the gas motor and stuff. But I'd help, like I'd help with stuff. So I'd earn some money. So I collected this money, and I remember the raffle came, and I made the informed decision of buying. The raffle tickets were $1 each. So I bought 10 raffle tickets, and I was so sure. I was like so laser focused, going, this is it. I'm going to put my $10 into this thing, and I am going to win that game system. And I remember it. I don't think that they raffled it. The International Food Festival went for like 2 days in our church parking lot. And I remember they weren't raffling off the Atari game system until like, it was like Sunday at 4 p.m. I remember just being there and just like, I had been running around and getting hot, but I got so excited about when they were going to announce the raffle drawing for this Atari game system. So, yeah, I'm there. It's a hot hall, really no air conditioning, like the big tall fans that you would see, uh, very much like carryover from like the 1950s or stuff. Like, these big tall fans are just right. That's how they're kind of keeping things cool in this hot hall. And they've got all the stuff that's up there that they're raffling off. Somebody's got like a very old, like a microphone that's out of like the early 60s, and they're, talking on it, tinny stuff. And I remember that the drawing for that Atari game system came up, and I sat on the edge of my seat, and then it went to somebody else. Like, it went to somebody that wasn't even there. It went to a lady that was just like, and it goes to Rita Smith. And it's like, absolute shell shock. Like, I wanted to say, like, she's not here, she can't claim it, right? Like, I wanted to force my will in terms of like reaching in that bucket. God, this is it. You're going to give me this game system. I was crushed, because like $10 for me back in 1982, that's like huge cash. That was like all of a sudden just like poof, like that. But I wanted the easy thing, right? I wanted to put in like what there was effort that was involved in it, but there wasn't the correct amount of effort for what it was that I was trying to get, right? I was trying to find like the shortcut. I was trying to find like, yes, if I do this, this is how I'll get the bigger thing. I'm really glad for that lesson, right? Because it is, right? Like, those rewards that we have in our life are so worth it. And I think that I was thinking this because I have had a couple of opportunities. Maybe you can identify with this. I've had some opportunities over the last several years where I thought that my life and my career was heading in a specific direction. And I thought, man, if I work, sorry, that's my coffee maker in the background. I thought to myself, if I, if I get this into this creative project, working with these creative people, oh, it's going to be it. It's going to solve everything. And boy, I went through a period of time where I did not get hired at a certain thing. I had pushed, I had pitched, I had taken meetings, and it didn't happen. Like it was a major thing. I have to be a little bit vague here, um, but uh, I really, I was putting in doing pitches and taking meetings where I thought like, yeah, I'm in my element. I'm in my element and I'm around other people and I should be in this environment. I should be in this environment. And it didn't happen. And I remember it just knocked me on my butt for about a year and a half. I think I was in like a depression for about a year and a half going, what's the point? What's the point? And boy, isn't it something, man? I just take a look back on it and I just think, thank God I didn't get involved in that. All right. Thank God I didn't get involved in that. Because it wasn't the path that God had me on. It just wasn't the path that God had me on. So, anyway, I hope that some of that resonates. And Charity, I really like what you just said there. Even God took time to make the world. He didn't have to. Even God took time to make the world. He didn't have to. Isn't it wild? Like God continually gives us examples of how we get this stuff done, of how we get it done. And again, it's about patience, peace, waiting on him, inviting him in to the process. So anyway, that's really what I wanted to tell you. I've got some great, exciting news for this week. One of the things I worked on yesterday was I actually completed the first video for a series that I'm going to be doing exclusively on locals. The name of this video series is called Parameters for Working on a Project. And this is based off of experiences that I had in my life talking about this. Like I've had these experiences where I've had like opportunities or things and not sure which way to go and fear of missing out and just like, do I do this? Don't I do this? And over the years, I started to develop a system for myself through writing, prayer, meditation, where I started figuring out, hey man, why don't you start seeing if a project or a creative project that you're getting ready to work on falls into these parameters that you've created. So the first video is going to be up tomorrow, Tuesday, over at kevingregg.locals.com. It's going to be one of my exclusive places that I hang out for social media contact. So I really encourage you to come over and join it. And it's actually a great way. It's a free social media platform that you get to sign up on, locals.com. But if you can join the community, kevingregg.locals.com, which is free. There's also a subscriber element that's involved into it where you can help to support the show. So anyway, that's coming out tomorrow. So I did it. We'll see what happens for the rest. So please check that out. We'll see what's going on for the rest of the week. It may be a couple of more live streams. I definitely know I have an interview that's coming up on Thursday with my friend Matitz, and I think that may end up being aired on Friday. I got to do a check-in with Patrick Quinn. So that may be happening this week too. So I think the hope is we may have at least one more live stream. If not, you'll be seeing some recorded interviews coming down this week. As always, thank you for being here. You guys are a true blessing. I hope that it helps. My apologies for feeling a little bit like I've got molasses in my blood. I got like molasses in my brain, as Kenny Lamon would say. By the way, if you didn't get a chance to check it out, Your Creative Journey, which is also now airing on this channel, we had a very special episode on Your Creative Journey last week, which was about faith, fear, and moving forward. And Kenny Lamon got to join me with Paul Carganella along with Stephanie Wall. So if you haven't seen that, it's on this show. We go a little bit deep. But that's what I got for you today. So thank you for joining me. I hope that you guys have a wonderful day. And as always, thanks for joining us here on the show. God bless you guys. Onward and upward. Bye-bye now.